Hey guys, welcome back to more AFK Arena. In today's video, we've got the Da Vinci himself ready to play with on the trial version. Now, it is 28 Synctronum, 3 furniture. I don't really feel like we need the others to test him. It is on my free-to-play account on the test server, so I don't unfortunately have the optimal team that I really wanted to test him with, which is Raku, but I will test that in the future. But this way, we can get a better look at the way his mechanics work. We lose this one, which means he only takes 10%, even if it did more, as the way I understand it. And then we also have this one that we're missing out on, that enemies that are, you know, framed take extra damage, but I think we'll still be pretty fine with him. Just to show you, this is more of a look at the mechanics. Like I said, this is my free-to-play account. We can't test too many things because I've only got certain things invested and all that stuff, so you guys know how it is. Unfortunately, we can do what we can do, and let's see how it goes. So what I wanted to jump in here and show you guys was I tested him here. So this was an interesting thing. I tested him in both these teams because I wanted him in the front row to see how his, you know, his final passive works when he takes that damage. It actually works pretty interesting. So this one here, hopefully it does it the same again. We can watch him. He takes that big hit from the Brutus. He dodged the Brutus hit, which kind of sucks. But there you go. Then he took that damage, and you can see he went right over to the enemy's side of the battlefield. So it looks like the way it operates. I actually want him to get hit by the first strike of Brutus here. And he keeps dodging it, unfortunately, because the idea is I want him to like drop his cannon, but unfortunately ain't working the way I want it to work. But we are getting to demonstrate that it seems like he goes to the part on the battlefield which is furthest away from any enemies altogether. So he like jumps and runs as far away as he can. Whether that is to be on the enemy side of the battlefield doesn't matter. So when we look at this one, another example, I just wanted to show you guys of him in this. The Lucretia team, I thought maybe, you know, because he splashes, his turn order is he splashes paint and then he does his cannon. I thought maybe in the front row of a Lucretia team, we could turn around and cannon them, but it really doesn't work. But this is another example of this. So if this one goes the way I hope it does, like it did when I was testing, he jumps up and he goes over behind irons. So he's now hiding behind irons because that's where he saw to be the safest place on the field. And as you can see there, he basically, if he takes early damage from the enemy team and does that, then he basically teleports and then goes straight into his cannon, which is really nice because then it gives you some CC. But having said that, remember with the cannon, it is like a Mahira type window for that cannon. So if he's in the top, he's not going to hit the whole enemy team, but it still ain't too bad. So let's see if he does it there. Yep, once again, he's hiding behind that irons. Now he chucks his cannon out, gets that damage in on the Brutus and the Arden, and then away you go from there. So it's not too bad in that, like, I feel like there will be niche situations where you can actually get some utility out of him in the front row. And like, it might be like a clutch play. I think he might be a great one to put opposite things like Cecilia and Athalia. I'm not too sure on Athalia, whether she knocks him down and then he can't do anything. I'm not too sure in the interaction there, so that'll have to be tested a bit more. But as you can see, didn't really do too much. Irons does everything, but what I want to do is I want to actually like try him as a damage dealer. Like, I don't think this would work. I think he's going to work more as a support. He doesn't really have the damage in my opinion, even though his cannon does do decent damage. What's our deficit? So we're at a 90 level deficit, which isn't crazy. But let's go ahead and put Arthur in there. We may as well put Albedo in there so that we can get the extra buff from Albedo. And then let's go ahead and do we do Joker as well? Because he's a good proc for Joker because he'll do ult. I mean, he'll do his cannon and then away you go. So I feel like that's not a bad little call. Let's do this. Let's do this. I feel like this is okay. Let's see if he gets CC'd by the what's his face? Oh, he got feared. He got feared just too early. Like, he had his cannon out. He had his cannon out, but got feared. So that kind of sucks. What if I put Joker there? Does Joker die instant, or does he get a stun off? It'd be really nice to get that. Okay, the Titus is really boning me here because I want him to be able to get his cannon off, but I can't with that Titus. Do I have anything that counters him? Do I have anything that... let's do... let's drop you. Screw heals. back in a sec. Okay, unfortunately, I'm really lacking the options. I think with the Leica, we can get the haste so that he'll use his cannon before he gets CC'd. Yeah, there you go. So he gets the cannon in. You can see it does a decent chunk of damage. He dies straight after. I just, and I'm at a low deficit. I just don't see him actually being a viable carry. I think he's going to be a great support. Like I said, I think the key one for him is going to be used with Raku because he can get that cannon off fairly early in the battle and then follow it up with an ult. So I think a Raku team is going to be incredibly nice for him. Let's just try this. We can put you there. We can put you there. Let's put the Joker in. Let's just see how this goes. So like I see some Joker synergies. Let's just see what happens. He's going to get his cannon out now. Boom, hits the whole team. Then Joker's going to proc, obviously, because the whole team got hit by CC. And then we start flowing. And then how long until he ults? So he's got a little bit before his ult. He's got paint on 4 enemies. So it's going to be a 4 enemy CC. Screg's the only one that's not going to get CC'd by the frames when he does do the frames. So here we go. Everyone framed, as you can see. Even Screg copped the frame. Actually, he did get an extra. So he can actually do the whole team because before the Talene died, she was actually in a frame. I mean, she actually had paint on her. So it's actually really cool. And there you go again. And keep in mind, like, you got the damage increase on him. The damage increase on them. I honestly think he could be like, oh, I think he's, you know what else I think he's gonna pair really well with Morrow. I feel like him and Morrow, depending on the RNG of like who gets like of overlapping CC and stuff like that, I feel like they could be a savage combo. I feel like they could be really good together. And I feel like that's what you could do because he has that much control. You might not need like a you might not need to bring him with a full damage dealer, but you can bring him with like a second tier damage dealer that has the synergy. So like I feel like him and Morrow together would be able to be have enough damage to make it happen. As you can tell here, now that we lost that Joker, we're struggling to get through the goals. The goals is going to be a pain the whole time, and that Talene's probably going to screw us here. Actually, no, we should be okay. Got some paint on. Let's do an ult. Let's put him in a frame again. But once again, if we had that damage increase, that's why I'm thinking, because he not only has the CC, but he has that added utility that he can splash paint on like 4 enemies, put them in the frame, then they take an extra 40% damage. And if you have some sort of sub damage dealer, I feel like it's going to be really nice. Now, unfortunately, once again, I don't have everything on this account. This is my free-to-play account, so we are very limited. But I feel like him and Joker, not too bad. Him and Raku, definitely. Him and Morrow will have great synergies because he can sort of get that cannon off early. Then Morrow gets his 2 CCs running. Maybe if you put Windbinder on him and you have a Rowan in the team, it allows him to get to his frame just after he does the second splash. So 4 enemies are in that. And then you got Morrow CCing 2. They're really long CCs. Obviously, he will have a synergy with Khazad because, you know, that CC getting extended. I just see a lot of options for this guy based on his CC and also his 9 furniture, which is going to increase that damage on those enemies who are under CC. So let's just try this a couple more times. So there goes the cannon. I don't think the cannon's crazy damage. I don't think he's going to have great damage dealing capacity because that's not really where his numbers are. It's all about that CC that he can give. So there we go. Frame. 4 of them in, all 4 of the enemies in a frame. It's really quite solid. Like, because he brings that early CC with the cannon, and then you have some synergies in your team, and then once you put him in the frame, it's just game over. If you get 4 enemies in the frame every time, I feel like it's just you're pretty much good from there. So like, unfortunately, like there I did use the Arthur, so like this isn't the optimal team, but I just think those synergies are going to be there. I feel like him with Morrow with something thick in front of them, pretty much good. Him with Raku, like I'm thinking like a Raku with maybe something like, I don't even know who you'd have to put in the front row. Like it's really just whatever you have that's a bit tanky, and then just play it against what enemies you're fighting against. I think he's going to be incredibly decent, but once again, we will have to wait for him to come to live servers to test some more stuff, especially on Kiasma as well, because unfortunately, yeah, we don't have a hell of a lot of shit on this account. So, you know, it is what it is, but let me know what you guys think. At least now we know how the mechanic works, especially when he goes in the front row, he gets hit, he teleports, like you saw in the other one. With the Iron dragged all the enemies over to our side of the battlefield, so he went over to the enemy side of the battlefield. It's like he just goes to the furthest away point from, like, the point on the field where he's furthest away from the closest enemy. I think that's the way it calculates, but not too bad. I do see some niche use from him in the front row, maybe in some battles, but yeah, we'll do some much more extensive testing once we get him on global. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.